Magicians, welcome to Magick Practices. In this episode, we turn our focus to one of the most formidable and austere spheres in the celestial hierarchy, Saturn. Corresponding to the third Sephirah, Binah, governed by the divine name Elohim, Saturn embodies the principles of limitation, duration, weight, and the inexorable passage of time. The metal of Saturn is lead, the color black, and this sphere is governed by the intelligence Agiel and the spirit Zazel, with Cassiel as the planetary angel. Saturn is the heaviest, slowest, and most feared of the classical planets, the boundary that holds all things. Within the sacred architecture of the Key of Solomon, Saturn claims 7 pentacles, each a precise instrument for commanding and constraining the spirits of this grave domain. Let us examine each in turn. The First Pentacle of Saturn presents us with a configuration of profound simplicity and terrible authority. At its center lies a square containing 4 divine names arranged in strict order: YHVH, Adonay, Yiai, and Eheieh. These are the highest invocations of the divine, names that pierce through the veils of creation itself. Surrounding this sacred square runs a border of text drawn from Psalm 72, verse 9. They that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust, a reference to submission and the acknowledgement of superior power. The stated purpose of this pentacle is to strike terror into spirits and force their submission. We may understand this theurgically by concentrating the 4 most essential divine names around a single point. The operator creates a concentration of will so absolute that no spirit of Saturn, no matter how proud or resistant, can stand against it. The terror is not cruelty. It is the natural response of a lesser thing when confronted with the absolute authority of the greater. The Second Pentacle of Saturn introduces us to one of the most mysterious and ancient palindromic formations in Western Magic Square. This is a 5x5 grid of Latin letters that reads identically in all 4 directions: left to right, right to left, top to bottom, and bottom to top. The words translate as SATOR, AREPO, TENET, opera, ROTAS. The sower AREPO holds the wheels by the works or steers the wheels of his works. This square has appeared in archaeological sites across the Roman and early Christian world, and its antiquity lends it a weight that extends far beyond its surface meaning. Samuel Mathers, in the Golden Dawn tradition, connected this square numerologically to both YHVH and Elohim, demonstrating that the palindrome itself encodes the divine balance and symmetry that underlie all creation. When employed in operations, the Second Pentacle of Saturn demonstrates great value against adversaries and in repressing the pride of spirits. The very nature of the palindrome, perfect reflection, absolute symmetry, creates a barrier that cannot be crossed or deceived. A mathematical and sacred perfection that forces submission through the undeniable logic of its own construction. The Third Pentacle of Saturn reveals a mystic wheel, a circle subdivided into sections, at each of whose reins stands a magical character of Saturn, those strange and precise glyphs that encode the planet's essential nature. Surrounding this wheel, at cardinal and intermediate points, are the angel names Omeliel, Anahiel, Ahauliah, and Anazahir. These angels form a protective and commanding ring around the wheel itself, their names calling into witness the celestial authorities that govern Saturn's sphere. The purpose of this pentacle is specific. It is designed for the nighttime invocation of Saturn's spirits. We must remember that in planetary magic, the hours of each night are governed by different planetary forces, and Saturn's hours demand that we call upon it under cover of darkness, when the boundary between worlds grows thin and the aged, slow energies of Saturn can most readily manifest. The arrangement of the wheel with its angels ensures that our invocation comes not from mere human will, but carries the weight of celestial authority. The fourth pentacle of Saturn strips away all ornament and presents us with something elemental, a central triangle with the letter Yod, the first letter of the divine name YHVH, positioned at its exact center. Yod is the seed point, the divine spark from which all creation unfolds. In Kabbalistic tradition, it represents Kether, the crown, the highest point of manifestation. Yet here it stands, not in light, but at the heart of a Saturnine configuration, surrounded by the words of the Shema, that most fundamental Hebrew prayer from Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. To invoke the Shema in this context, with Yod at its center and Saturn's sphere constrained around it, is to declare that even the operations of ruin, destruction, and death that this pentacle governs serve a unified, divine purpose. The death that Saturn brings is not chaos, it is order. The destruction is not meaningless. It is the cutting away of all that is false, all that must pass in the eternal turning of time. This pentacle is dangerous, and it is meant to be. It declares that we do not call upon Saturn from fear or ignorance, but from understanding of its place in the cosmic order. The fifth pentacle of Saturn presents a cross inscribed within a square, a meeting of the vertical and horizontal, the eternal and the earthly. At the four angles of the cross stands the name YHVH, and at the four angles of the surrounding square stands Eloah, the singular feminine form of Elohim, the mother principle. At the four cardinal directions appear the angel names Arehana, Rahaniel, Roel-Hefa, and Noaphiel, each a sovereign of Saturn's realm. The purpose of this pentacle is distinct and protective. It is designed to defend those who invoke Saturn's spirits during the nighttime hours, and specifically to chase away the spirits that treasure guard those entities bound to guard wealth, secrets, and hidden things. In this, we see Saturn in a different light, not merely as the bringer of limitation, but as the guardian of boundaries, the keeper of thresholds. When we wear or bear this pentacle, we declare that we approach treasure guardians not as thieves, but as authorized agents, permitted to pass where others are forbidden. The sixth pentacle of Saturn stands apart in its construction, for it is formed entirely from mystical characters of Saturn, those glyphs that seem to encode something primal and ancient. No geometric figures, no circles or squares interrupt its surface. Instead, character flows into character in a dense and intricate pattern. Bordering this formation runs Psalm chapter 109, verse 6 in the original Hebrew. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. A curse, a binding, an assignment of righteous judgment. This pentacle is among the darkest in Saturn's arsenal, for its stated purpose is to cause a person to be obsessed by demons. We must pause here and acknowledge the gravity of what we examine. This is not a tool for casual use, nor is it to be employed without the most serious moral consideration and full understanding of the karmic weight such an operation entails. Yet we study it as practitioners must, unflinching in our examination of the complete range of our tradition, understanding that magic encompasses not only benediction, but also binding, cursing, and the righteous application of force against those who've proven themselves enemies of our sacred work. The seventh pentacle of Saturn ascends from the particular to the universal, and in doing so demonstrates something essential about the Solomonic tradition, that each planet, each sphere, ultimately connects to and draws authority from the entire celestial hierarchy. This pentacle is inscribed with the names of the 9 orders of angels in their proper sequence: Hayot HaKodesh, the holy living creatures; Ophanim, the wheels; Aralim, the thrones; Hashmalim, the brilliant ones. Seraphim the fiery ones, Melachim the kings, Elohim the gods, Bene Elohim the sons of God, and Cherubim the cherubim. Some of these names appear in ordinary Hebrew script, while others are rendered in the secret alphabet of Transitus Floi, the passing of the river, an angelic script tradition preserved within the magical schools. This mixed presentation is deliberate and precise. The names written in common letters are known, studied, and understood by all practitioners, while those in the secret script carry a hidden resonance, a power accessible only to those who have undertaken the study and initiation necessary to read that cipher. The stated purpose of the seventh pentacle is remarkable, to excite earthquakes through angelic power. We must understand this not as mere physical trembling of the earth, though in the cosmology of the ancients all earthly disturbances had their origin in celestial causes, but as the shaking of foundations, the disruption of that which seemed fixed and immovable, the upheaval that can only come when the united force of all 9 orders of the celestial hierarchy is brought to bear through Saturn's sphere of limitation and change. We have now examined 7 instruments of the Saturnine sphere, 7 pentacles that encode within their precise geometry and sacred naming the authority of Saturn and the means by which we may command and work with the spirits under its dominion. Each pentacle responds to a specific purpose. Each employs a distinct arrangement of sacred names and celestial authorities, and together they represent the complete practical system of Saturnian magic as preserved in the Key of Solomon. In our next episode, we turn to a profound shift in the celestial ladder. We ascend from Saturn's gravity and constraint to Jupiter, the sphere of Hesed, governed by the intelligence Yophiel and the spirit Hismael, where the metal is tin, the color is blue, and the promises are expansion, grace, treasure, honor, and the visions of ultimate good. The contrast between these 2 great planets illuminates the wholeness of magical practice. We cannot understand blessing without understanding limitation. We cannot comprehend expansion without experiencing constraint. And we cannot truly work with Jupiter's abundance until we have learned Saturn's disciplines. We continue in the next episode, the 7 Pentacles of Jupiter. If this episode has deepened our understanding of the Solomonic tradition, liking and subscribing and sharing this work with others on the path carries it forward. Our continued work is made possible by the support of our community at Patreon, where Level 4 and above members receive exclusive access to annotated texts, extended commentary, and our complete resource library. To those whose dedication to the great work sustains this channel, our Patreon supporters, our gratitude is boundless. May we continue in wisdom, bound by Saturn's weight and guided always by the light that transcends all spheres.